Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for following us on our journey throughout our life. You've seen us do so many things, buy cars, move into a house, and now we have Taika, our little baby, which has been awesome, and he's been pretty much the center of attention for our lives for this past month. And we wanted to break up the vlogs with a little Q&A because we've been reading a lot of comments. And if you guys like this, maybe we can do this more often, maybe once or twice a month. Let us know in the comments below, maybe even some challenges or whatever, and we'll try to bring Taika more into this mix.
Yeah, we know that the vlogs have been looking a little bit different, and that's just basically because Taika has taken over the world. Like I did mention in his IG, he is king of the Bale world, so anything Taika wants is what's kind of popping off. So that's the reason for the sudden change in vlogs.
Yeah. So the first question is, any advice for soon-to-be parents?
And these are questions coming from all fans, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any advice for soon-to-be parents? Damn, get ready not to sleep. Like, they're not kidding. Like, you're not gonna sleep. So prepare for that.
Yeah, I think there's one thing that other parents have told me, and I couldn't really understand that, but now I do, which is they say there's nothing you can do to prepare for it. And because in your mind you're thinking like, whatever you think it's gonna be, oh, I can do it like this or do it like that. Every kid is different.
Yeah.
We were talking to one of our neighbors the other day, and she came in and she was like, "Oh, your baby sleeps every 2 to 3, or gets up every 2 to 3 hours." And to me, I'm like, that's already
Not enough.
That's already not enough, and it wrecks my sleep. And then I hear that baby wakes up every 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm like, damn. So it's pretty much whatever plan you have, it's gonna be completely different based off your baby. That's one.
Another big one is have a support unit, whether that's your significant other or your family or your friends. Like, you cannot do. Okay, you can do it by yourself, but you're gonna go crazy, and it's not pleasant because it can get very frustrated. It can get very tiring. So have a support system for sure.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my dad, and he was like, "See." Like, he's been bugging me, and we talk about JK News and in the vlogs all the time, where he's been bugging me to have a kid. And he goes, "See, don't you feel like you should have had one earlier now?" And I was like, "No, actually, I'm really happy I had a baby the way now, because I was telling him, like, when I was younger, I had less patience. I had more of a temper problem, and not that he's ever pissed me off or anything like that, but I just think, like, if you know yourself and you know you're easily frustrated, or you're still, like, after a couple of hustles in your life, having a baby is definitely a huge kind of like sidetrack.
Yeah.
Not sidetrack in a way where it takes you away from it, but there are more things to deal with now. And so I think
you can't be selfish anymore.
Yeah, you can't be selfish. So I think
literally
so
it.
For me, like, I was really happy that I waited until I was a little bit older, and I felt like my life was ready for it, And so when I told my dad that, he was like, "Oh, sure, yeah, I never thought of it that way." And I'm like, "That's probably why you beat my ass every day, because you were young and you had a bad temper."
Okay, question number 2.
Okay, leading up to question
He's never this
number
calm.
2.
I'm like really glad that we're documenting this because this is rare.
And
Move
we gave him a bath this morning.
Don't get him crying.
Okay, fine.
Move on.
Bart and Gio, hello. What is your favorite thing about being new parents, and what is the hardest thing you have had to overcome?
For me, the funnest thing is seeing this kid change and develop and morph into himself every single day. Like, he already looks different to me than when I first brought him home.
Yeah.
And then just like like he's still getting to know his limbs. So I think just developmental stages that he goes through, like, it's really fascinating to witness.
Milo's going crazy on the side. We're just a house full of life. Bless you. So for me, yeah, I think with Taika, it's just so fun watching him learn about the world, because it's literally a smaller mini version of you. And so when your baby first comes out, you're like, "Oh my God, that's me!" And then, but it's you with a blank slate, and you can kind of see them in this new world, kind of taking all these things in, hearing a sound, rotating in their head, and you're just like, "Oh, this is so cool." You get to see, like, something literally come from nothing, little seed become this plant. One of the toughest things to overcome for me is definitely sleep. I'm one of those guys that needs 8-9 hours of sleep every single night, and because I have to get up a couple times a night, it does affect me a little bit, but it doesn't affect me in a way where you dread getting up. It's just every time you get up, you're so happy. Like, when I'm feeding him, there's this bond, and it just feels so warm and awesome. But because the sleep is interrupted, you do feel it the next couple hours and throughout the day.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the toughest for me too. Definitely. And I feel like that, for me at least, is the toughest because I have a really cool support system. Like I mentioned earlier, like we split up, our night sessions into shifts.
He's tired of it. He's like,
and then in the daytime, I have my mom here as support. So because I have that support system, sleeping, luckily, has become the toughest, right?
This kind of ties in the last question and this one. If you guys are thinking about having kids, I highly recommend setting yourself up where you can have at least 1 or 2 regular family members that are coming over before you have it. That will lay a really good foundation. And if you do need to take a quick nap, like sometimes Jill's mom is really awesome. Where we're like, can we just take a nap really quick for 1 hour? She'll go, yeah, I'll watch them, boom, and go. And that helps out so much. Like it just recharges your batteries like crazy.
Don't be fooled. He's never like this. I'm still very surprised he's this chill. Like, don't be fooled. Don't be like, oh, look at Bart, Gio, and Taika. Look at how chill Taika is. No, this is not. Don't take this. Don't be like, I'm ready to be a parent because look at how chill this kid is. No.
Third question. Did Meatloaf's tail get amputated after all?
Yes. Meatloaf is literally on the side of this camera right now, and his tail looks like this weird, like 8-inch nub looking thing. It did get amputated, and immediately his spirits got better though. Like he was just a different dog, super happy again. And his fur's growing back, so you can't really tell too much.
Yeah, surprisingly, I think like my own personal preference got in the way of his well-being. Because when the doctor recommended it, I was like, what? You're going to cut his tail off? I'm like, but that's my beautiful Meatloaf.
That's what you were thinking about?
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to cut off his fucking tail. I'm like, there's got to be another way. And the doctor was like, no, I highly recommend it. And then I'm like, we'll take our chances. And he was whimpering and, I think got slightly infected. And there's all these medical issues. And finally, when we brought him in, they're like, you know what? I think it's a good idea to cut his tail off. I'm like, all right. It seems like we have no choice. So literally 3 days after he got his tail amputated, that thing healed completely. His spirits are back up. He's not like, going around all depressed. And I'm like, man, like these doctors go to medical school for a reason because they know what they're talking about. And now he doesn't have his full tail, but I think it matches him more because he is short and stubby. So
poor guy. He looks jacked up.
He's cute. All right, next one is, what were your other name options?
Oh, you got to tell him yours.
So my first name, I wanted, I really like Arabic names, and I wanted to name him Jamil, and I had another one which was Jaleel, and I might even have some written down.
I have them in my phone too.
Yeah, I might even
can't
have.
Even remember.
One of them was Darius. I think in Persian that meant king. Maxwell was one of them.
Maximus was another.
Maximus was another one. Another one was Aquila. I think that was Indian. I forgot what that meant. But I liked, or both of us, we really like names that kind of have a little bit of meaning and it just sounds cool and it's not so like, I guess, Romanized. Is that the word?
I don't even know what you're trying to say.
Like, like Romanized words, like for example, like if my Chinese name is Xu Hong, then it'll become Chu Heng.
Oh, I see.
Or like Angela, like that's wherever Angela came from, it could have been like Angela.
Yeah.
It could have been like Latin, but then after you Romanize it, it's like Angela.
Yeah. Oh, I feel the fussiness coming.
So it was those are some names. That's the part that's awesome. Like you never know, he's learning his own voice, learning how to speak, and let me see if there's any other names that I could just.
I can't remember them. I know they all got rejected.
I have a ton of them. All right, Jamil, Jaleel, Nisha, Akila, Amala, Anika, Anil, Chandra. This is before we even knew if it was a guy or girl. And Chandra means moon in Indian, and that's a girl's name. Kanye, Azumi, Kazumi, Darius, Amar, Amari, Amara, Azra, Aliyah, Khalil, Khalik, Malik, Samir, Zara.
Hope it didn't leak.
Hopefully. Didn't leak. That was another name. Yeah.
Didn't leak.
So hopefully none of those names made it. Maybe you guys can choose
it was a tie between Maxwell and Taika for sure. And not until like he was born we were like, it's Taika. It's Taika.
Yeah. And then the middle name Octavius is named after Jill's pop.
Yeah. Which is Octavio, but then we made it. Because my nephews, I think they got that name. So we're like, oh, let's make a variation of that. And it was Octavius.
Yeah. So Taika, Octavius, Quan.
That's this guy.
Next question is, Bart and Gio, how does it feel to have a baby? Also, when are you guys planning to have baby number 2?
Oh, it is definitely a surreal feeling for sure. I'm still like letting it all sink in. He's been here for like a month. a little bit over a month, and I stare at him and I'm like, I can't believe this is my kid. Or I look at my mom holding him and I'm like, I can't believe my mom's here babysitting my kid. Like, he's mine. Like, this is so odd. Or I see you holding him and I'm like, that's Bart's son. Where did he come from? Like, it's so surreal.
It's really amazing to see him change. Like, when he first came out, he looked hella Asian. And I think every single day, and looked like me. And every single day, he's starting to look more and more mixed and looks more like Gio. And in the beginning, it would trip me out because I'm like, how did a Chinese baby come out of a Mexican vagina? Like, that is just, you don't see that every day. So that just kind of caught me off guard. And baby number 2, I think we were thinking about maybe waiting a couple years.
A year and a half or 2.
Yeah. It's actually not that long. I thought we were talking about like 3 or 4 years maybe.
I don't have that much time. I'm already 34. I don't have that much time. Damn. I think the cutoff for women is like 40. Like, the later in your 30s you go, the higher the risk it is to have a baby. So the sooner the better for sure. But
let's say we talk to our OB and he says that you can wait like 4 years.
No, I wouldn't wait that long.
So just do 1 or 2 years?
Yeah, like maybe a year or 2. Whoa.
Okay, so we'll do 1 or 2 years. That's,
yeah.
There's going to be a lot of years with no sleep these days. All right, next one. How are the pups dealing with the new baby? That's awesome because that's kind of one thing we're really worried about. Just because you hear all these horror stories, you know, like dogs biting kids and stuff like that. And also German Shepherds are known to be like a more aggressive breed. So, and Meatloaf has a history of doing crime. Yeah. So we're just kind of worried.
He has a record for sure.
And so we weren't too worried about bringing in Fawn because they're just so loving. And even seeing them with other dogs. You still don't know, but you see them with other dogs and it's like, okay, cool, they're so like loving. So when we first brought him home, we were very, very cautious.
Sorry, dude.
We're very, very cautious.
Sorry, dude.
And Fawn and Briggy actually turned on their maternal instincts and they became so protective. Oh, they became so protective of him now. And so anytime the door or anyone barks, a scratch or knock on the door, they turn into like these mama wolf traits come out. And Meatloaf is completely cool. Like, before I was kind of scared. I'm like, man, what if he just comes and just grabs him by the head and just drags him away? Yeah. Like I've seen him do to other small creatures. He comes and just smells his head and he just walks away. So everything's been going really good.
Yeah, and then Fawn and Briggy always get in between strangers visiting him. They're like, what are you doing with my baby? And then Fawn every single day has to lick the bottom of Taika's feet. Every day. She smells him and she goes, okay. And then she starts licking his feet. And Taika's always like, what the hell is that sensation? This is weird because he doesn't know where it's happening.
His hair is so soft. All right, next question.
He's holding up his own head.
Okay. Is Taika going to have godparents? And if so, who are you going to choose?
I don't know. I think godparents is like a Catholic thing, right? Is it? I don't know.
Isn't that like a Mexican thing?
I'm not sure. But, I guess unofficially, we haven't even announced it. I don't think we've thought about it much, but if we had to think about it, we were saying Tiff and David would be the godparents.
Does that mean they have to get married?
No, it just means if something were to happen to us, and our family, I guess, then they're the next in line to take care of
I know Tiff for sure because she's been saying how much she loves Taika before Taika was even born. But David, I didn't know. Did we talk to David? He was just cool with it?
David has to be cool with it. What the hell?
Oh, okay.
David, you're cool with it. I'm letting you know you're cool
with
it.
What about, like, Joe?
This guy's just, like, standing.
What about Joe or anybody else?
I'm sorry. He's just cracking me up.
What about Joe or anybody else?
Can you see this guy? He's, like, about to, like, do something. I don't know. I just felt like David was a better pick.
Okay, all right.
Because David's just a family person. I think Joe just wants to live the Joe life, and when he's ready... then I don't know when that'll be.
That's
like
true.
Joe
David,
is just such a free-spirited like eagle.
Yeah,
you know?
David's very, very family-oriented. All right. Okay. When do you plan on taking Little Bear on his first Hawaii trip?
Oh my God, tomorrow. No. For me, I'm down when he can already start making memories. So maybe after a year. I think I want him to be able to like enjoy it. So I would like him to walk around by the time he starts going to Hawaii and experiencing it. So at least by the time he walks, what do you think?
I think for me, Hawaii needs a couple things. One is definitely the water. And every time I give him a bath, he has a great time. Like he loves it. So for sure he's gonna love the water, that's A-okay, number one. Number two, I think I also think about others. So I would hate to be that family with that screaming baby on the plane, because it just sucks. Like, everyone's trying to go on vacation and your baby's causing a ruckus.
I know. We've been on the planes with those people and we're like,
I've had a baby like right behind me screaming all night, and it's rough. So I think for me, I'd probably want to go on like a tester flight, something short, either to Vegas, to San Francisco, or something that's like 45 minutes.
Yeah, both of those are like less than an hour.
And just to kind of test his temperament on a plane, and if it's good, then it'd probably be sooner than later. But if he's a screamer,
he's not going anywhere.
Then he's not going anywhere until
We're just gonna show him YouTube videos.
Yeah, until we can figure out a way to make sure he doesn't scream.
We're like, look, you screaming baby. This is what Hawaii would look like if you were actually there.
Yeah, and I've also been looking up swim lessons, and you can start kids in swim lessons as early as 6 months. So if we figure out he's not a screamer, and I can get him in some swimming lessons, I feel like he could already have a really good time, like just right around 1 year old.
Oh my God, that'd be so cool.
Which would be awesome. So that was it. That was the last question.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
These are some great questions. I actually had to tap into things and like really think about it, and like be like, well, what do I find really hard about parenting, or what is really cool about parenting? So these are really cool questions. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah. Let us know once again if you guys like this. If you want to break us on the vlogs, you want to see us do some challenges, do any other type of videos with Taika, let us know in the comments below, and we'll for sure keep doing that. And other than that, we're gonna keep sharing our little bear life, bear world, bear journey with you guys, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, and honestly, have sex responsibly, because if you don't, something like this will happen, which is beautiful, but then you ain't sleeping. You're probably not gonna have sex for a long time, and it's gonna be a lot of work. So wear a condom, kids.